The Pulse School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by BASF.
I'm Amber Bell, and this is Real Agriculture. Here today with Anique Josuttes of BASF, and we're going to be doing a Pulse School talking about where exactly biologicals might fit into your system. And so, Anique, you are the technical marketing specialist in seed treatments and in biologicals.
Yes, correct. So I'm based out of Saskatoon here and focusing, yes, on seed treatments and biologicals.
That's terrific. So, talking about biologicals, let's get right down to the basics. What are they?
So I think biologicals can come with a little bit of a bad rep and be, kind of coin that snake oil that we hear about. But really biologicals can add some beneficial organisms within your pulse rotation. They can help protect against early season diseases in some cases and suppression of those diseases, as well as they can protect that plant through that critical stage of development, whether it's using micronutrients more effectively and efficiently, or protecting that root from some cold early season conditions that we see here in Western Canada.
And what organisms are in there? I think there's this whole, we know that it's something natural, but
yeah, so in most situations, it's a bacillus strain that is within that biological. And so depending on which bacillus strain, it's going to bring a different, benefit to that situation. So when I think about biologicals and how they are benchmarked, really what ends up coming down to is the fact that, like inoculants, they aren't registered through the PMRA. They're registered through the CFIA. And we've chatted about this before when we think about inoculants, but some biologicals actually do have PMRA registrations where they've had to provide efficacy data. So when you think about a biological, make sure that you're really understanding what that benefit is and how it's benchmarked.
Compared to a herbicide, what do companies like BASF have to provide for data if it's through the PMRA versus CFIA?
Yeah, totally. So inoculants and biologicals, they're in a totally different umbrella if we think about how they're registered compared to a herbicide. So, if you're going to register a new pre-seed herbicide, you got to provide some efficacy data to support the claims that are going to go on that label, and it's submitted through the PMRA. With inoculants, now this has actually changed. In the past, that was required, efficacy data, whether it be more nodules, more effective nodulation, root growth, root development, whatever it may be. In the past, it followed a similar cadence as with a herbicide. You had to submit efficacy data to the CFIA to support those claims. This has changed over the years. And when we think about some of the inoculants coming into this space that's really, really saturated, they don't necessarily have to provide efficacy data to support their claims. Biologicals, very similar as well. And then really, if you think about it, at the end of the day, supporting that yield conversation for growers and doing yield with a seed treatment, an inoculant, a biological, any of those early season add-ins is really, really difficult. A lot happens within the season, but we are seeing really, really good results with the biologicals that are on the shelf right now.
Okay, so can biologicals actually replace a seed treatment then?
That's a really good question. So biologicals can't replace a seed treatment. We still would recommend treating with a seed. There's tons of benefits when we think about a seed treatment. What biologicals do is they can help assist within that. So helping to pull their way in really a natural type of effect with that bacillus strain. So those suppression claims that you may see on very few, honestly, biologicals, that is what is going to help that suppression, whether it be Pythium, Rhizoctonia, Fusarium, those types of situations. But we would never recommend that a biological or an inoculant, for that matter, would replace a seed treatment or a fertilizer.
Right. And then what should a grower consider when deciding whether or not they're even going to bother with a biological?
I think that they should consider kind of a holistic approach to what that biological is bringing. So how is it getting on that seed? That comes into tying in with the inoculant from a formulation piece, or is it a solo add-in that you're coming in with the seed treatment? So that part of it, cost obviously comes into play. And then how those claims are really benchmarked and what they're doing. As well, some companies provide their biological within, their support programs. So is there a pulse answer all the way through that crop life cycle? Maybe that's another thing growers want to think about.
Thinking about the research that you guys have done, what has that actually looked like? Like, how much of an impact are biologicals making on the crop?
Yeah, so it's huge. There's a reason why they are a hot topic right now within the industry. And we have seen situations where, side by side, an inoculant alone versus inoculant plus a biological, a difference, whether it's the vigor. So, I'm standing 10 feet back and I can see the line in the field that we all know what I'm talking about, or whether it's I'm getting into the field and I can see, when I'm digging up the plants, some root mass differences, more effective nodulation due to what the biological is bringing in terms of that protection, or that more effective, efficient use of nutrients, water, whatever it may be. So digging up some of the plants and getting on your hands and knees, those are some of the differences that you're going to see from a biological. As well, we do see a more even plant stand, as well as more even staging. So you're getting a little bit more out of that herbicide or that fungicide application when you think about more in crop.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Amber.
And that was Anique Josuttes on Real Agriculture.
Perfect.